Alright.
Oh, God.
Story thus far, gang. We're here again. Episode 14.
Here.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah. I know, right? The DM needs time to prepare, guys. I'm not a machine. You can't just plug me in and I go. I need to prepare.
Who am I playing again?
Alright, so we are just going to jump right in, I think. First, we have an Instagram and an email. Instagram is...
at the _Storythusfar.
Sweet.
Email is storythusfar@yahoo.com.
Sean, I continue to call you Talvis in real life, and Sean
The
on
lines
table.
might blur a little bit.
They are very blurred.
He's my first D&D character, so naturally he uses an exaggerated version.
Wow. I think I told you this. I almost called my boss Talvis.
Yeah.
Talvis.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I caught myself luckily. Alright, so I think we are ready to jump into the story thus far. Episode 14.
A bit
yeah.
Yeah. Valor Ransom. You're back at the swamp village of the Alderman Wilster. It is humid, it is wet, and it is miserable. But most importantly, it is also hopeful. The four of you prepared for a journey south to find rare crystals in the hopes that they may be able to give you some a small advantage in your conflict with Praetor Zain Zane. And Terra, you spoke to some of the colorful citizens of the Alderman Wilster. Talvis, you awoke Barag in a most colorful fashion. Barag, you had a conversation with Barag Phoenix Horn. One in which he tells you that no matter what you run into, Talvis must survive. Perhaps due to his relationship with Zain Zane, or perhaps the beacon that he represents as the bearer of the hearth of Hestia. He makes it clear, Talvis must live. And Talvis, you once again run into that which hath been deemed your eternal enemy, your nemesis, in fact, until the end of time. It is any animal with a saddle on it. The horse sees you. You see it. Your eyes lock. And the challenge to mount this beast. And thus, the battle is joined. Now, personally, I've heard many epic tales of heroics. This was not that. Lo, my friends, this was a tragedy. After you mount the animal backwards and take an extraordinary amount of time to right yourself, thus your journey finally began. You head south, and having spent a night in the wild, Terra and Barag, you guys are plagued with horrific nightmares, except for Daedalus, who begins to entertain dark thoughts and motives. Talvis, you have not a nightmare, but you have memories of love lost. But you finally make it to your location. It's a large gorge, the third that Valor Ransom has run into. The first in the Arctic North, and the second in the Sanguine Sands. As you journey down to the middle, you see a catastrophic moment of destruction, forever frozen in purple crystal. You locate the most vibrant of the crystals and are met with a humanoid turned crystalline. He mutters one word, organics, and quickly the battle commenced. It was intense, as you didn't seem to be making much headway with your attacks. Barag, you and Talvis, you guys got stuck in an anti-gravity spell. Terra, you were doing minimal damage due to his unique physiology, and Daedalus, you actually were struck down. You were frozen solid by a spell, and your life ended. Be it desperation or anger, the tide of battle did turn, and Barag, you and your Warmaw, Chimera Rising, delivered a final shattering blow, pulverizing him to dust. Talvis, with just a few seconds left, you say a silent prayer to Hestia. You channel her divine energy through you into Daedalus, and Daedalus is once again back in the realm of the living. Barag, Terra, Talvis, you harvest some of the precious glowing mineral from that location. Now your objective is complete. Valor Ransom is leading their mounts back into the village of the Alderman Wilster. What would you like to do?
We're approaching the village right now.
Yeah, you're coming up to the outskirts of the village. You can actually see the brazier that Gryu Phoenixhorn was having put up a few days ago. It's been day 5 now. You had a count of 15 days when this event was celestially scheduled to happen. So you've got about 10 days left in the hourglass as the crow flies.
Okay.
10 days left. So you see off in the distance, you see the giant brass brazier and the guard post, and you hear from a distance, "They're here! They're here! Valor's ransom has returned!" And you start to hear a small crowd kind of gathering as you guys, a miserable trip because you have to, for the better part of 6 hours, slosh these horses through this thick mud. But yes, as you approach, you do see a crowd kind of gathering with anticipation and excitement as you guys come back to the village.
I'm gonna guide my horse towards the stables.
Same here. Oh my.
Make an animal handling. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Talvis is already feeling
I
attacked.
just love looking at you and saying that. Make an animal handling check.
These were borrowed horses?
Yeah, the stable boy actually managed to call in a few favors on your behalf. He may or may not have thrown your guys' name around. You don't know. But you did get horses for the trip, and you made it there and back pretty quickly. 5 days.
So I'd like to return my horse to him if I can find it.
Oh, make a perception roll.
Can I also help out since
You know
I'm
what,
also going?
Yeah, make an investigation roll. Why did you make it with advantage since you're helping him?
Yes.
Okay.
Investigation or perception?
Let's see, because you're looking for somebody specific. So no, let's make a perception roll. Perception roll.
With advantage?
Yes, with advantage because Terra's helping you. You both are kind of like looking through the crowd, looking for the stable boy.
14.
Easy enough. You hear everybody kind of like, some people have their hats, in their hand and kind of like waving it in the air, saying, "Huzzah, huzzah, they're back." It's almost like a town crier, but there's a lot of them. Your family rushes up. Your 2 brothers and your mother. Your father is there, but he's kind of letting the crowd, do its thing before he just smothers you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's smothered.
But you do find the stable boy, both of you.
Okay. So I approach him with my horse, and I walk up to him. Thank you. This did in fact come in handy.
They proved their worth, sir.
Very much so.
Oh.
I don't know that I proved mine with it, but
I just take some time. I'm pretty good on the back of a horse. I'm not a horseman, but I do know the basics. I'm more than willing to teach you to mount, to dismount, and
sure, maybe away from the others.
Discretion. Yes, discretion.
I've seen quite enough.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm on your clock, so whenever you want a lesson in rudimentary horsemanship, I'll be more than happy to help you, sir.
Much appreciated. I think I'm going to get some rest, and then we can talk about that.
Excellent.
And I will drop another silver piece in his hand.
His eyes just get huge, like saucer plates. Oh, sir, this is too much.
Oh no, you have done us quite a lot of good since we've been here.
So you just see this huge smile just kind of like crack his face in half. I mean, that's how big the smile is, and Thank you so much, sir. I'll take care of these horses right away. Come see me at your earliest convenience.
I will. And your name again?
Oh, my name. Let me look on this list here. Rognus, sir.
Okay. Rognus.
The one fucking time you ask for a name. You never ask a name ever. You ask for shit and literally walk away.
I just kind of turn to Terra. He's got his name written down. He's a nice kid.
He's got a name tag. Yeah, he's got a name tag that says Rognus.
Okay. That seems more appropriate.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
How may I help you?
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, my name is.
Yeah, so he grabs the horse's reins and he goes up to each one of you. Master Barog, how was the ride?
Aye, much better fared than our friend Talvis over there.
Well, it just takes experience and time. And the steed served your purpose.
Aye, indeed it did.
Good. So he just grabs the rein. Miss Terra.
Aye. It was quite the journey, yes.
But it was good.
Yes, it was. And I'm gonna reach into my pouch and pull out a gold piece.
So you actually bring him to tears. Like you see, like he quickly just puts his hand to his mouth, and he's just silent, and you just see kind of like tears. He's never seen a gold piece.
I'm just gonna kind of look back at them and look back at him, and he's never seen gold. He needs to get out of here more often.
So he just kind of is nodding. Yes, madam. I'm just gonna go. So he's just gonna get out while the getting's good, and he goes over to Master Daedalus, and he goes, "Ooh, Master Daedalus?
Yeah, ignore the looks.
Oh, okay. Was the trip that bad?"
No, this wasn't because of the trip.
Oh.
It is because of something else.
Do you need an apothecary?
I don't think an apothecary is going to help with this.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope the steed met your needs.
Oh, very much so.
So he kind of points to the name tag on his chest. Remember, Rognus has all your steed needs well met should you have need of me.
I will make note.
Thank you. So he grabs the reins of your horse and he trots all three back to the stables. You don't see Borug or Struenia. So you are assuming that Rory, Denny, and Gryu are still somewhere, but not in the village. They are pretty big and impressive, a woolly mammoth and a woolly rhino, so they are very hard to miss.
Yeah.
But you do see Milkune is there, and her and your brother are almost inseparable. They're side by side. And despite her being 2 years younger than your brother, she is so much taller because she's a half orc and he's a halfling. So it looks so disproportionate. Like she's almost 1.5 feet taller than he is. But yeah, she has your daggers by her side, and I'm gonna say, oh, hold on. Okay, so she's just kind of like twirling the dagger, and it's not pretty. It's not somebody who has a lot of experience with daggers, but you're a trained eye. You've been doing this for years, and you can tell she's been practicing. And you notice your brother actually, he kind of has hand wraps around his hands and his wrists. And you do recall that he was training with Rory before Rory left, almost exclusively. So, but yeah, they're both there to meet you along with your family.
I see you all fare well.
Yeah. What did you do out there? I mean, tell us. Rory was saying that there was a dragon down there. Nobody really knew.
No, just a crystal wizard. Nothing to worry about. And I'm just gonna walk, just keep walking.
You hear him whisper to Milking, did she say a crystal wizard? She's like, I don't know, did she find like a little statue of a wizard? I'm confused. So they start talking about, they're trying to decipher exactly what you meant as you kind of walk away. And
I'm gonna start laughing to myself.
Sure. Brog, Daedalus?
Well, I approached it too as they're talking about trying to decipher what she said. I was like, no, when she says crystal wizard, she means like an actual, like, our-size crystal wizard. This guy was casting spells at us. He did do me in, but luckily our cleric friend here.
So you see Milkune kind of like tilt her head a little bit to the side. She goes, "Is that what happened?" Ouch.
Oh no, this is something different.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't go into details.
Do I hear all of this?
No, you walked away.
Ah.
You should really see an apothecary.
Yeah, this is not gonna help with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have to find some other way out of this.
Okay. No magic people here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Except for you guys. I mean, you're kind of magic, sort of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go looking. Fortunately, I'm gonna have to go looking elsewhere for a way out.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my ear to the ground.
Okay, thank you.
So.
I walk off to that. Is that tennis hat still up?
Yes, all the tent city is still up.
Okay.
So, and you could tell that there are rudimentary weapons have been crafted. You see barrels with spears just sticking out. You see other barrels with arrows sticking out, and another barrel with just bows sticking out. All very basic weaponry, but they're doing the best they can with the limited amount of resources they have, and more importantly, the limited time that they have. So you could tell that crafters are working around the clock, and even though that you guys came into the village, you still see men and women at the anvils, still trying to bang out, rudimentary pieces, armor, weapons, all sorts of craftsmen. You hear off in the distance a cauldron outside, a couple of cauldron right next to each other, kind of bubbling away, in what you think is probably a mixture of healing herbs to make some sort of potion or something. So it's all hands on deck. Very, very busy. Brock.
Is my tent still a pile of mess after my...
They put it up for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did put it up for you, but you do see your muddy outline on the back wall of the tent. So.
At least I know what tent is mine.
The tent, I mean, they did put it up for you, but it still kind of looks very Barag-esque. It's kind of like caved in on one side, and
that works for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
It'll
and
work.
hide in my little Baragish
Look
tent.
at it.
Well, it's not in the evening. It's still in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So you got there just after lunch.
Oh man, damn it! I missed lunch.
Nah.
I
Well,
always miss the good
halflings
stuff.
are about, so more than likely you will
Their
be
second
there
lunch.
for first supper and then second supper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
not to worry.
they better be ready for Barag.
Yeah, I'm
They
sure. Talvis.
So to clarify, Zened, he turned into the hag, right?
According to what Daedalus told you.
Right, according to Daedalus. Do I want to try to perceive whether he was always that hag, or she was just creating sort of a...
Sure. You
Appearance.
want to try to sift through truth and the act, essentially?
Right, I'd like to try to find out. I'm wondering whether, or Talvis is wondering whether Zened was the hag the entire time, or if she was impersonating somebody.
Okay, I'll tell you what. This will be an investigation roll.
Okay.
You don't see Zened anywhere.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that what you're going to have to do is walk around throughout the village and ask, hey, have you seen Zened?
Okay.
What was your experience with Zened? Have you seen him before 5 days ago? Sort of thing.
Okay.
So why don't you go and make that investigation roll, and depending on how well the roll is.
Investigation.
Ooh.
That is a 19.
Yeah, nice. So you ask a few people. You do ask the village elder, and I believe her name was. Hold on, I have it here somewhere. Notes. Her name is Thupneen. And she tells you, yeah, well, you know, Z-Ned would come by very often, seasonally, it would seem, when it was warmer in the marsh. Nobody really comes to a cold marsh. So came with the season, really.
Do you ever act strange around you, or seem to behave in an odd manner?
Well, it's Z-Ned. He is strange and odd in and of himself. Have you ever heard him barking at a merchant table?
Oh, sure. I sure have.
Quite entertaining.
That's how I met him.
Yes.
Nothing that would raise suspicion beyond the normal merchant barking and such things.
No, nothing at all. The only thing that I would say was queer about him. He was always alone. I never saw him with anybody. No friend, no family. Kind of felt sorry for Mr. Ned. I know ogres or orcs are hard to get to know. They can be abrasive and brash, but they can also be very loyal when they're your friends. That is the only thing I really found most unusual. Oh, and had the greatest little magic trinkets. Nothing very, very powerful until he came last time with that flame sword. That was impressive.
He showed me.
Yes.
Yes.
Had I the coin, I would have bought that and hung it in the bar.
Yeah. I think one of my party almost did.
Yes.
I had a little spat, but I did make away with this, and I show her the little dancing frog skeleton.
So do you say the magic words?
Yes.
The amphibian shuffle?
The amphibian shuffle.
And it starts kind of dancing on the pedestal? Oh my, yeah. Little trinkets like that.
Yes.
Always. He had birds, snakes, little bats, all kinds of little animals. I say that investigation roll is so high that as she's talking about that, after you've shown her, you do recall when you first saw her, the very first time in the swamp, there were a lot of little animals like that in her hut. You remember that was one of the things that kind of caught your eye. You saw her, and a very fairly attractive woman when she was illusioned, but there were a lot of animals in her domicile.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
The hag. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So as I'm remembering this, I glance at the frog. Like,
maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
And put it away. Slightly disgusted.
Yeah, sure. It's understandable.
Well, thank you for your time anyway.
Sure.
If you happen to see him, let me know.
Absolutely. How was the trip? Did you get what you needed?
Yes, after the struggle, but we got it.
We are so happy to have you all back safe and sound.
So we're happy to be back. It seems like every step we take at this point could be our last.
Yes, and now Kasur has not returned, but I have talked on your behalf, and under my rule, my judgment, as the village elder, you are now allowed entry to the missing molar.
Ah, yeah.
I know that you had a little bit of a, shall we say, miscommunication with Kasur.
Let's say that.
Yes. However, now that everybody's on the same page, I think you should be treated as equals, just like everybody else here. So yes, please feel free to enjoy what little creature comforts the tavern can give. I mean, we live in a mud hole.
I am a fan of the alligator steaks.
Oh, so am I. Yes.
So
I've got a few good teeth left to munch those alligator steaks. First one is on me.
Sounds good. Thank you. I shake her hand and.
So she kind of puts her hand like through your hand. She's a very short lady, probably about 4'5".
Oh wow.
And so she kind of puts her hand as you kind of reach over. She just puts her hand right through your hand, and you guys go walking arm in arm right to the tavern.
Yes.
How presumptuous!
Try to-
I'm not that type of cleric.
I try to.
I don't judge. I don't judge. Hey,
A little old.
80 is the new 70.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
So I try to look as casual as possible and just kind of look straight ahead of me as if to not like.
No, and it's a very cute and innocent thing.
Yeah.
It's you're kind of leading a very elderly woman of some import to the local watering hole. And it's a very cute and innocent thing. So, Brog. So you're back in your tent, yes?
I'm back in my tent.
Okay.
I'm gonna call for my armor to disperse.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say Cloud Harath.
Sure. And it does. The bracer comes off, and then the next bracer, and then the leggings and the breastplate all kind of like fly off you, and then reassemble back together, standing in the tent.
Yes. And I'm gonna just. I presume there's probably a cot or some blanket.
Yeah. No, you've got a bedroll.
Yeah.
You can get a cot easily enough as well.
I am going to lay on the bedroll and take a nice dwarven nap.
Sure. Terra, what are you doing?
I'm actually gonna go ahead and head to the blacksmith, I think it was, the one that is doing my hilt.
The hilt, yes.
Yes.
That was Hisoc.
Yes.
Metal River.
I'm gonna go head to where he's at, actually, and
Sure.
see if the hilt of that, hopefully, a dagger.
Yeah. So you see him there, busy, hard at work, and he's just pouring sweat just from the heat of the furnace and the humidity. You see he's even got his beard. Normally beards just kind of, dwarves just let their beards just be. But the whole thing is kind of braided in a tight braid, just to try and get a little bit of relief from the heat he's dealing with. And you see him, he's got his goggles on, he's very focused, and he's just hitting what looks to be a spearhead on the anvil, puts it in the fire, puts it on the anvil, and you just see spark explode from his hammer onto the spear point, and he just keeps going on. He doesn't really see you, he's just tunnel vision.
And how loud would you say?
It's pretty loud.
Okay.
I mean, a hammer on an anvil,
Mhm.
it's very loud.
So I'm gonna kind of like go around towards the front of the anvil
Oh, sure.
and see if like he'll notice.
Absolutely not. Not with that perception roll.
Oh my god. I'm gonna try and like.
Natural 3.
I'm gonna
Ouch.
try and wave my hand like in front.
Sure. So he kind of, you see him stop, and he kind of looks up, and it takes a second for him to recognize you, and he takes his goggles off of his head and puts them on top, and he goes, "Oh, Miss Highhill, welcome back.
Hi. Well,
How's the adventure?"
good.
Good. Get any cool loot? Any
Aye.
amazing weapons?
Aye. Well, stuff to hopefully make a weapon of sorts.
Oh, really? What
Yes. And I'm gonna pull out the purple crystal.
do you got? Ah. So Adnor told you about that gorge, did he?
Aye.
Let me take a look. So takes the shard, a relatively large shard, and he looks at it. This thing is glowing. It seems magical in nature. Well, what would you want me to do with this?
Aye. You know that hilt that I asked of you?
Yeah, the shitty hilt.
Very.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I listen, complete transparency, I did tell you that the quality would be...
Meh. You're fine.
Okay. Hey, I have a cousin, off of the Sword Coast, west. Yeah. He is a craftsman. There's a guild in a city called Baldur's Gate. It's in the actual Sword Coast. The guild's name is the Omnia Continuum. These are the best crafters you've ever even seen. Go ahead and make a
Perception?
make a history check. You don't think he's lying to you. So yeah, make a history check.
10.
10? Okay.
Mhm.
As far as you do know that the kind of like the mecca of civilization is at the Sword Coast. So it's probable that the best crafters would be found there, at least on this continent. So he says, yeah, I have a cousin who works for the Omnia Continuum. So check this out. This guild of crafters. It's a huge guild. It's the biggest guild on this continent of nothing but crafters. And they have crafters of all races and all types. And they are the best in their fields. And they're all under one roof. And they specialize in making amazing, incomprehensible things. Because you take it to one crafter, and then you could take it to another crafter right in the same place, and then another one. So I would recommend, this crystal, in all fairness, I've never worked with a material like this, and I sure hate for it to blow up or ruin. I would recommend taking it there. And, you've got a beautiful piece.
Hey, well, I think you're right about that.
It strikes me, gnomes are very adept gem cutters. And I know they do have gnomish gem cutters in the Omnia Continuum. But hell, they've got dwarven woodworkers, and they've got elvish leather workers. They've got it all there. So you may want to take it there, should your adventures veer you in that direction.
Hey, well, I need to head there anyways. But, thank you.
Now you are very familiar with Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Baldur's Gate is off of the Sword Coast, and it's the most highly trafficked port on this continent. So you've been to the port, and the port itself is like a city. That's how huge the port is at Baldur's Gate. So sure enough, you know where it is. You're very familiar with it. And you've heard of this guild, but they were far too rich for your blood at the time.
Okay.
Okay. So he does give you the dagger, the handle, and he's like, "Here it is for what it's worth. I'm just gonna give it to you for free. I didn't put too much time into it because I'm doing bows and arrows and spears. And
If I could ask you a favor.
Sure.
I will pay you. I don't.
1 copper.
If you do this for me, I will make it a silver. But if you wouldn't mind just making a basic dagger out of...
A basic dagger?
Basic, maybe with this hilt. I know it's shitty quality, but...
We've got basic daggers in that bucket over there. You see a bucket of about 10 daggers. Very rudimentary. Barely an edge. Some of those, as you kind of pick up a dagger, the metal is not the best quality metal, so you do kind of see little chips in the blade. Like you can look at it very quickly and be like, that's gonna break after about 5 hits. And this one is completely unbalanced. It's gonna have somebody's gonna have a hard time keeping it in their hand, but it's functional. So
All right.
You can take one of those finished blades. I mean, I don't call them finished. We're just trying to bang out as many as possible.
Aye, well, maybe I shall. Thank you again.
You're welcome, Miss Io. And welcome back. Say hi to the boys for me.
Aye, I will. I'm gonna pass him a silver. Just kind of like flip him a coin of silver.
So he has the silver in his fingers in his hand and kind of like tips it to you and, you know, nods at you.
So I'm gonna head actually to wherever my family is.
They are in the cottage for the halfling. So they're small enough where your whole family can fit in this very small cottage, relatively comfortably.
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the cottage then.
Good enough. Daedalus.
I'm gonna
And guys, just call out if you want to do something. Let me know.
I was gonna head to my tent. I'm gonna need to meditate for a little bit to rest from our previous ordeal.
Sure, understood. Now it's getting about supper time. I need Talvis, I need Barak, and I need Terra. If you three can just step outside.
Oh no.
Don't take it personally, Sean. I saw your face is just so...
It was a slight confusion of is Talvis stepping outside or is Sean stepping outside?
You're both stepping outside.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Nobody puts Talvis in the corner.
Never. All right. So Daedalus, you begin your meditation. It's something that your elvish people do in lieu of sleep. You don't need sleep. You need 4 hours of good, solid meditation. When you are in this meditative state, you are in a heightened sense of awareness. You don't necessarily have dreams, but your people have been known to have premonitions. The last time you did this, you had a conversation with a certain Auntie Ethel Irontooth. So, as you begin to slip into your meditative state, there's a little knot in your stomach. You just don't know when she's going to appear again. But you manage to calm your nerves enough to clear your mind and begin your meditation. And as you begin your meditation, it's almost like you're having an out-of-body experience. You can kind of see yourself in this kind of heightened state of awareness. You see yourself meditating. And as you're looking above your own body in your tent, everything kind of goes dark around Daedalus. You only see the tent flap. And as you focus on yourself and you focus on the tent flap, you see long nails made of iron nails. At the end of these long fingers kind of curl around the edge of the tent flap and pull back. And you see her dark purple skin so loose that it just hangs loosely off her skull and her skeletal system. She sees you just see 2 black beads where her eyes would be. She slowly makes her way into your tent. And she looks up right at you. And she says,
Daedalus Hartwell, you've returned. I'm happy that you have returned. However, you have betrayed the Green Shadow Coven. We survive in secrecy. That is our way. You have exposed me, Daedalus Hartwell. my safety nets. We are bound by our soul. You have asked me for information. This I gave you. I gave you power. And my assurance that your power will grow with my tutelage. However, you have betrayed me to the Hestia Whore, your alcoholic pirate, and your offensive dwarf friend. Now, it is time for you to learn a very hard lesson, Daedalus Hartwell. You have betrayed the Grim Shadow Coven. So, there's a price to be paid. And eventually you will learn secrets must be kept. That is how we live, how we survive. Know this. I do not take any pleasure from this lesson I must dispense. But this is on your head, Daedalus Hartwell. Think before you speak. Before you open that pretty mouth. She disappears.
I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy indeed. Alright, so guys. Oh, sorry.
Our little scene.
Nice. Daedalus' scene was met with an oh boy.
Oh, well, that's
Yes.
damn.
Oh boy.
You can come in to see Kyle's as white as a ghost.
Or crying. I was hoping for crying.
He was looking pretty shocked throughout that scene, I have to say.
I was hoping for porque.
Wait, so did we get to listen to the scene on YouTube then? Or
Yeah, sure.
oh,
Yay.
yay.
Yeah, the internet's free game, guys.
That's free
You know
game.
what? I encourage you guys to go back and listen to some stuff because you're gonna be like, maybe we should follow up on that.
Yeah,
missed that? Oh, I
I've
missed
got
that.
one thing already too.
Okay.
And,
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That's Kyle's. That's Daedalus's job because he has more free time.
Sure. So Daedalus, you awake from your slumber. Well, not your slumber, your meditation. You were just doused in sweat. I mean, it's almost like somebody took a bucket of water and just poured it over you. Your heart is breathing, and it's racing so fast. It feels like it's gonna burst out of your chest. You sink your fingers deep into the mud and you clench them tight, and it's almost like you're not 100% sure if what just happened. You're pretty sure it did, but you don't know what she was talking about. So what do you do?
I'm gonna go outside and get some fresh air and just walk around.
Sure. The sun is beginning to set in the Alderman Wilster.
It's gonna take a short walk and then back to the tent.
Sure. So as you're kind of walking, kind of clearing your head of the sludge that just filled it, Milcune sees you as you're taking your stroll. She kind of taps you on your elbow. Daedalus?
Yes.
I want to apologize. Earlier today, I was just surprised, and I should not have. I'm sorry. I feel like a real jerk about it.
It's alright. It's alright.
So she kind of puts her arm through your arm. She goes, so tell me about this adventure you guys had. How is my teacher, Terra?
She was good. Her daggers couldn't do too much to that crystal wizard because, metal deck.
Let's talk about this crystal wizard now. And so as you guys are walking slowly, kind of the perimeter of the village, you go into your adventure. You tell her about your adventure, about the crystal wizard, about seeing this gorge of purple crystal, these waves of destruction that were caught and flash frozen for all of time. And she seems completely fascinated by this adventure, almost as if you're reading it out of the pages of a book. She's just completely enraptured by the adventures that you're telling her. And so she asks you, tell me more. I need to know more about your adventures. So, what else do you choose to tell her?
I guess I'll start with the spire.
The Crimson Spire.
Yes.
She is riveted when you start talking about the Crimson Spire, about dead giants that are hollowed out, about a beholder that is using them as some sort of mechanized weapon, a giant fly and Barag falling from the top down into the town square. She's just completely fascinated by this adventure. And so you go around for a good couple of hours, just kind of walking around the village, and it's nice to have this quote-unquote human moment. You're so used to dealing with monsters and the ugliness of the world, and you just have this little moment of just simply talking. It's a rarity lately in the life of Daedalus Hartwell.
Yes.
But it reminds you of why you're doing it, what it was all for. And so, as you say, what was it all for? You kind of look down at her as she's just completely riveted. And you remember the original deal that you made with Auntie Ethel Irontooth. And the original deal was fine milk cube. And so, Daedalus thinks, was it all worth it? So Daedalus, was it all worth it?
Yes, it was all worth it.
Yeah, high five, man. God damn, that got a lump in my throat. Take an inspiration, man. That was awesome. So, I gotta regather myself, man.
I know.
You didn't even pause or anything. Yeah, it was all worth it. Fucking A, man. The ending, I love it. Alright, so you, Talvis, you're in the tavern. It's starting to get dark. You are enjoying that alligator steak. With Thupneem. She is in there as well. It's pretty light in there. It seems that people are working in shifts, trying to get things done. Weapons, armor, fortifications, just in case they attack the Alderman Wilster. And they seem to work in shifts. So, people work 4 hours on, rest 4 hours, and then another shift comes on. And they just are switching off 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. Children help out where they can, but they really can't. The elderly as well try to help out when they can. And most of the time you'll find the elderly kind of looking after the children and the missing molar. So.
Who is working the is Kasur working the bar?
Kasur went out on a patrol with the Bright Rising Rebellion before you guys left, and he still hasn't returned. His original patrol has not returned.
Okay. So I'm going to just finish up my steak and face Thupneem. Well, thank you for the steak. I appreciate your your efforts in getting me back in this place.
Yeah, it was not a problem. I'm glad that it's kind of all water under the bridge. I'm sure Kasur will be fine with it, and if not, he can speak with me.
I'll let him know. You can handle that one.
Yes.
I didn't handle it very well last time.
It's okay. It's okay. You've sacrificed a lot for us. That does not go unnoticed.
I think we've all got
Talvis of the Seven Fingers. And she kind of winks.
You've heard.
I've heard.
Well, I think we all have bigger issues to deal with these days.
It's true. I think the biggest issue that I'm having to deal with is that hat. The red hat with the white fur lining. What is that all about? You have not taken that off since I met you. Is it a Hestia thing?
It is now.
Apparently it is.
It's I mean, not originally. It's just it keeps my head warm. It's to comfort peace. It's not too encumbering.
No, it's quite flashy
Yeah.
for the village.
Yeah. It's true.
You are the man about town with that hat.
Yeah. I suppose I draw enough attention as it is.
Yes.
Yeah. I get so used to wearing it. I guess.
I will.
It really protects against the cold very well. And
I will say some of the older ladies are taken to making some.
oh,
Yes.
it's
It
a
is-
trend now.
It's going to be. You are a trendsetter.
Oh, for better or worse.
For better. So she kind of smiles at you.
So I nod at her and, do you need a hand back to your cottage, perhaps?
I think I'm just gonna stick about. Give moral support when and where I can. It's the least I can do. I can't swing a hammer or a sword, but I can give a word of encouragement.
Sure. I think you're very important to the people here.
Thank you.
I give her just a light pat on the shoulder and make my way out and towards the temple.
Sure. And a lot of people tracking back and forth. Barag?
I still sleep.
You're still sleeping? Okay, sure.
I'm taking a huge driving nap.
The sleep is not a good sleep.
Typical.
They're getting worse.
Yay.
Ever since you guys left that temple.
The nightmares are gonna kill me.
Oh, please don't. Don't jinx it.
The nightmares will, and I think I've said it a couple times, but they will eventually end up costing a level of exhaustion just from the lack of being able to get a full long rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, you find yourself as you're trying to sleep. I mean, you're clawing at your own skin just from these nightmares. And you, more so than anybody, have crossed a certain threshold a number of times.
Yeah.
And it is in the back and in the front of your mind, and it's kind of right now, when you're asleep, it's almost all-encompassing. But yes, you do try to take that dwarven sleep.
Ouch.
So, Talvis, you do make your way to the temple. Hustle and bustle in the village. You would think it's a big metropolitan city, as much hustle and bustle that's going about. Torches are all lit throughout the whole village. Even a certain half ogre is busy, snapping trees in half and dragging them over just to the outskirts of the village from the swamp. So you kind of notice him, and he notices you, and he just kind of like bows his head a little bit, just in an acknowledgement that you've returned, and continues at his work.
And it's just about nighttime now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just give him a nod back and sort of take note of his appearance so that I can try to find him again, maybe if I so wish.
Sure.
And I'll head into the temple and just kind of look around, see if anybody's there.
Most times the temple is packed, but like I said, it's all hands on deck right now. So you've got the place pretty much to yourself.
Okay. So I approach the altar and I take out my Heart of Hestia in its one-handed form, and it's kind of looking at it curiously. I say the prayer that is supposed to ignite the head of it.
And it does. You just see this divine fire.
I just kind of give it a couple good twirls and put the fire out. And
Make a perception roll for me.
that was 22.
22. Okay. So as you're kind of looking at the Hearth of Hestia, just out of the corner of your vision and your peripherals, you see on the altar something that looks completely out of place in the swamp village. It's a beautiful horn. It is exquisite. It looks like almost platinum lining the outside of the horn where the sound would erupt out of, and where you would blow into. Again, it's kind of like, it almost looks like platinum. It doesn't look like silver. It's definitely not gold, but much brighter than silver. It's got a beautiful leather strap, and it's got a symbol of Hestia on the side. And the leather strap has prayers inscribed into it. So, that being said, I am going to pull out the old DM guide, because this is a thing and you must know. Okay, so. So, page 227 on the DM guide. Supernatural gifts. A supernatural gift is a special gift granted by a being or force of great magical power. Such supernatural gifts come in two forms: blessings and charms. I'm not going to read the rest of the paragraph. So, blessings. A character might receive a blessing from a deity or do something truly momentous, an accomplishment that catches the attention of both gods and mortals. Rampaging gnolls rarely warrant such a blessing, but slaying the high priest of Tiamat as he attempts to summon the dragon queen might. A blessing is an appropriate reward for one of the following accomplishments: restoring the most sacred shrine of a god, foiling an earth-shaking plot by the enemies of a god, or helping a god's favored servant complete a holy quest. An adventurer might also receive a blessing in advance of a perilous quest. I'm not going to read any more. So you see it, and for a second you just see kind of like this column of divine energy engulf it, coming from the heavens. You feel a great warmth and a great comfort. You don't know what it does, but you feel that it should only be used in when it's most dire. So in other words, don't drink ale out of it.
Okay.
And as you're looking at it, you almost feel her presence. You almost feel like she's next to you. She's in front of you, she's behind you, she's above you, below you. She's just completely surrounded by her energy. And you hear 4 words as you're looking at this beautiful gift from the gods, this blessing. You hear, "I am with you."
So you pick up the horn and just kind of inspect it closely. Do I get the sense that this is a horn that one would blow into?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It is.
It is kind of a war horn. You're familiar with that sort of thing.
So I will put it, this feeling, seeing and feeling this incredible blessing. I will go ahead and lay the heart of Hestia on the altar with the horn and spend 10 minutes or so praying before I lay out my blanket.
Sure. As you're praying and focusing all of your attention on the hearth and this horn, and this horn, you get the feeling that it was part of a larger. It's one component of a thing. And you also have a feeling that the hearth of Hestia was also another component of a thing. Just as you know automatically the name of the hearth of Hestia as when you pick it up, you know the name of this horn. It's called Hestia's Battle Hymn. And you feel the pulse coming from that small, raggedy, holy symbol that Terra found in the guts of that purple worm that she gave you. You can feel the warmth emanating from that holy symbol.
Okay. So I will, when I'm done praying, I will take the heart of Hestia and the horn off of the altar and just kind of lay them next to me as I'm taking my long rest.
Sure. Okay. Barag, you're really role-playing this, huh? Jesus Christ.
Very convincing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, he's fucking method, man. He's not fucking around.
Nah, not tonight. No.
Alright,
Sorry, just the back.
No worries.
I'm actually gonna awaken screaming, by the way.
Sure.
From the nightmares.
Sure. So I'm gonna say this. As you awaken screaming from these nightmares, you hear a lot of activity just outside your tent, a lot of running, heavy breathing, panting, panic. And as you're kind of awakening from this nightmare slumber, it almost takes you aback. You think maybe this nightmare was real, until you kind of find your bearings and kind of wake up. And you see one of the villagers kind of poke their head in your tent. I'm sorry to bother you, Master Barag. Have you seen Talvis?
I have not. Since we came back, I came straight to my tent. Go seek out Terra. Terra was with him last.
Very good. So just takes off. Terra, where are you?
At the halfling home.
Okay. So when you're kind of getting settled in for the night, your brothers and Milkune are not there. You're just there with your parents. And you see a human villager. He kind of like bursts through. Again, you don't have doors. You just kind of have these strips of leather that serves as partitions between you and the outdoors. And he kind of bursts in and he goes, Miss Terra, high heels. Your brother.
Oh boy.
Just follow me, please.
I'm gonna follow him.
So your parents immediately they bolt up and they follow after you, and the three of you run. You run over by the stables, just behind the stables where Milkune usually practices on the targeting dummies, and you see your brother kind of sitting there in the dirt, in the mud, and he's got his hands up. Your younger brother. He's got his hands kind of up, his palms are up, and he's just sitting, and he's absolutely motionless. He looks like a statue. And as you get closer, his mouth is just open, and you get closer, and you hear the humans say, we found him like this. Milkune came looking for help.
I'm gonna try and like move him or shake him.
So as you go up, you see there's no pupils, there's no irises. It's just white where his eyeballs are.
I'm gonna turn to my parents and run. I need you to run to the temple. I know Talvis sleeps there at night. Get him now.
So your father, stay here, mother. I'll go get him. So he takes off as quick as his little halfling legs will take him. So yeah, what do you do?
I'm gonna motion. Is Milkune there? Or
Yeah, she's there.
Milkune.
She's kind of standing off to the side, and she's just kind of in shock.
What happened here, darling?
He just fell. He was in the middle of a sentence, in the middle of a word. He just stopped, and then it felt cold for a second, and he just fell on his butt. And I called to him. I thought he was playing, and his eyes, it's like he's frozen or stuck, or I don't know if he hears me.
Hi. Well, anybody come near here? Anybody come near you or you folks while you are out here?
I just remember it got cold.
Son of a bitch. And I'm like, my mind's just going in a haze, and I'm thinking of when Daedalus got frozen.
Sure.
Ay, maybe it's magic. My dear, I need you to run and get Daedalus.
Yeah. So she takes off as quick as she can. Talvis, quickly, the as you finish your ceremony, you say your silent prayer, and you're kind of getting ready for the evening to end. One of the villagers comes in very quickly into the temple. Master Talvis, you have to follow me. The high hills. They need help. The little one.
So I don't even say anything to him. I just grab the horn and put it away and pick up the Heart of Pestia, sort of wielding it, expecting the worst, and I'll just run out and follow him.
So you follow him, and you both are running at double dash speed to the stable. Meanwhile, Daedalus, Milkune, as you're kind of sitting there, you've got your hands in the dirt, your teeth are just gritting, and you're having a hard time making sense of what's real and what isn't. You see Milkune kind of burst into your tent. Daedalus, come with me. We need you.
So I quickly run out.
So she kind of grabs your hand and kind of double times it. She's half orc, and even though she's only 10 years old, or 8 years old, she's so strong with this rush of adrenaline, she almost drags you right off your feet as she initially just snatches you up. But you do follow her, and you do see Talvis and a villager running over in the same direction. You kind of converge in the middle of the village as you're both heading toward the stables. So what do you do?
It's still nighttime?
Still nighttime.
Okay. So I follow him straight to where we're going. I mean, yeah.
And
I don't really know.
I don't think I have much of a choice. In fact, she's holding mine.
I mean, you always have a choice.
Oh yeah, but with the death grip of a half-orc.
Well, she's holding you pretty tight. I mean,
So yeah, so I'm just running along with her.
Sure. It's like Talvis on horseback. Yeah, you're just holding on for dear life. So
We're always gonna bring that up now in like every D&D session.
Oh yeah. I want like a professional oil painting of like Talvis on a horse, but completely backwards. But like one of those tasteless, really ugly like oil paintings,
Gaudy,
very gaudy,
with the Santa hat.
on velvet.
Yeah.
It's got to be on velvet. With the Santa hat and everything.
Yeah.
It's got to be a
Take it.
thing. Yeah. So you guys both get to the stable and you see the scene that was described to Terra earlier. You see her youngest brother just sitting in the mud, palms up, his mouth half open. His eyes are just completely white.
So who is around me other than Daedalus and...
There's now a little small crowd that's gathering. Now you've got Terra's parents.
So I just look around, not really sure who to talk to. What happened to him?
Milkun, he fell and this happened. I didn't know.
He fell?
He just fell. We was talking and he just stopped in mid-word and just kind of like fell.
Did you see anything or hear anything?
All I know is it got like really cold, which is super unusual because this is humid and hot swamp.
So I kneel down. He's sitting like this. So I kneel down in front of him and try to determine if there's anything medically maybe going on.
Okay, so you're going to do a medicine check? Okay, yeah, sure. 14. Medically, he's in very good health. Unusually in shape for a halfling, especially one so young.
Is he cold?
He's been doing push-ups.
Oh yeah, that's right. Huh? Does he feel cold? Does he?
No.
So I turn to her parents. So best thing we can do right now is just get him inside. Let's get everybody out of here. Everybody has enough panic on their minds as it is.
All right.
Before we do that, I'm going to try an Arcana check.
Go for it. Ooh.
19. Plus, I guess, the 2, right?
Yeah.
So that's 21.
But you're proficient in Arcana, right?
Yeah.
So is that
So it's going to be your proficiency plus your intelligence modifier.
Well, that's a -1.
Oh, okay. That's what it's supposed to. Gotcha. Okay, you're right. So you can tell with a roll like that, he has been hexed. The second that you see him and you see his eyes and you see his palms up in that position and his mouth half open, you know he's cursed. The second that you see it, you know it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I just lean over to Talvis so not to freak everybody in the area out.
Sure.
It's like, he has been cursed. Just don't say it out loud. I don't want to freak out everybody, but especially the high hills. They would just go into a frenzy.
There's only a few of us that need to know about this. Let's get him inside and see if we can help him.
Okay, so I'll go to grab his legs. You want to grab his arm?
Yeah, maybe
He's a child and a halfling. I mean, so you can easily cradle him in your arms.
Okay.
So I'll just actually. Okay, well, since he's small, I'll just leave it up to you. You're a big guy.
I would even say you can without issue. Yeah.
Give that a shot.
Sure. So I go to lift him up.
Yeah. You don't need to roll. So easily enough, you lift him up, and you run over to the High Hill Cottage. The High Hills are there, and there's a small trail. Dropping books. Even Thupneem has kind of caught wind and is looking through, looking at the through the doorway of the tavern. She's looking very concerned, and her hands are kind of like clasped together, as almost she's like saying a silent prayer almost. And she's looking on extremely worried. And there's, a small trail of villagers, and you hear what you would think you would normally hear, people kind of muttering to themselves, who's on guard duty? What did anybody see anything? And you just hear people kind of trying to wrap their heads around what just happened. Nobody really knows. Some people think perhaps he was poisoned. One of Zainda Zane's zealots had come into the village and poisoned him. Perhaps some sort of pirate curse as retribution. One of Terra's old enemies. So you kind of now have this. The rumor mill is now starting to circulate, and it's a very small village, so the rumor mill spreads very quickly. Yeah.
That's been a wildfire.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you guys doing?
I'm following them.
Okay. So, tell me, what are you guys doing? She's following you guys. You guys go to the cottage and you lay him down. Okay.
So her parents are there.
Her parents are there.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to meditate and rest for a bit, but if you don't mind me staying here, I can do that, and I think when I wake up, I can try to work on it.
Pa High Hill says the domicile is yours.
There's no
So
promises,
whatever you need.
but I'll try my best, and if anything happens to him overnight, just wake me up.
So Ma High Hill just grabs your hands. Talvis, we're asking for one more miracle.
I am too.
So she
Pat her on the back.
hugs you, and she kind of gives you a nod of acknowledgement and acceptance. They both kind of accept that this is now in your hands.
I'm gonna, is the bed that he's laying in, is it big enough for both he and I to...
Yeah, it's Johan's old bed.
I'm going to lay down next to my younger brother and start stroking his hair and start humming like an old halfling tune, like when we were kids.
So as you...
And just start kind of like tearing up and crying a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
But not say anything to anybody else.
Okay. So as you're kind of stroking his hair, and you get these flashes of memories of swinging off that old oak tree into the pond in front of your house when you were children, arguing for stupid little reasons that you now regret. You remember the last hug that he gave you, the last time he told you that he loved you, the last time he told you that he hated you. All of these random memories start kind of flooding into your thought processes. And as you're kind of staring at him, and as he's staring just at the ceiling, you hear... And you hear labored breathing kind of coming back to him.
I'm just gonna keep stroking his hair and... It's gonna be alright. I'm gonna take care of you. It's gonna be okay.
So as you are kind of whispering to him, you hear him eke out, I love you.
I'm just gonna start bursting into
Sure.
tears.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I don't care if Talvis or Daedalus or my parents are watching. I'm just focused on him.
So as you're kind of looking at him and just doing nothing but wanting to protect him from this unseen enemy, you can feel his hand that is just kind of like in an up position, kind of like squeeze around your hand very tightly.
I'm just gonna hold him as close as I can.
Sure. And as you do, you feel whatever it is, whether it's just your presence, your energy, if you believe in that sort of thing. Maybe it's the familial connection, but you're getting a reaction from him. So Daedalus, Talvis, Barag.
I'm actually going to say the words to gather my armor to me.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud Gothrum.
I love that. I love that. That sounds so dwarvish.
When I looked at it, I was like, Destiny.
That's
right
it.
there.
Yeah.
That's the one that I want. I love saying it.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. So I say Cloud Gothrum. My armor gathers piece by piece.
So yeah, it attaches to you in a very Iron Man, Tony Stark type fashion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I pictured.
Yeah.
The moment where he's walking through the tower. But yeah, so the armor attaches. I walk outside to see what happened, because when he mentioned to me, I'm looking for Talvis in a hurry, I'm like, what the hell?
So, yeah, you see kind of a crowd gathered. The crafters are still busy crafting.
Mm-hmm.
But even they have stopped for a moment to kind of look over in the direction of where the high hills are staying. You don't see Terra. You see kind of a small-ish crowd kind of gathered just outside the cottage.
Okay.
And you see Talvis and you see Daedalus kind of come out of the cottage, talking amongst themselves.
Alright, so I'm gonna run over there. Talvis, Daedalus, what happened?
Something happened to Terra's brother. Nobody seems to know what. He was fine one second, and the next second he was hexed, and he's basically petrified.
Ah, shit.
They're taking care of him as best as they can in there, but I don't know if there's anything we're going to be able to do.
Nobody saw anything? Nobody on
saw
watch?
anything. Well, I only spoke to Milcune, but it seemed like nobody was aware of anything. Just he was walking along and he fell. He's not in very good shape, but I've done everything I can for him until tomorrow.
We need to search the camp.
I agree. This didn't happen by accident.
Someone targeted him.
I don't know what we'd be looking for. I mean, it could be somebody already here, somebody that blends in with the village.
Well, if anyone's going to be able to find out, it's you two.
Yeah, so
I'm not too good with magic and...
I think what we should do is try to guard him and ourselves for tonight and get to it in the morning. If it's somebody else from outside of the village, they're already gone. If they're inside the village, they'll probably be here tomorrow.
Well, let's keep on our toes at least.
Agreed.
I've already napped my nap, so...
Yeah, you disappeared for a while.
Well, as much as my dwarven awesomeness is, or sorts.
And we dwarves are very humble as well.
That's kind of
So, there's that.
raise my eyebrow a little bit. Yes, that would explain it, I suppose. Did you sleep more peacefully? Did you wake up better this time? Seemed you were in a...
No, not really. I've been having these nightmares and, well, it's been a doozy, but I'll deal with it. The problem is my ass got kicked in this last fight, so I need to just take a nap.
Sure.
But I will stay on watch. Someone needs to keep an eye out for whoever or whatever did this.
I agree. My plan was to spend the night in the cottage here just to be close to him, but if you need me, you can head on in and wake me up.
Aye. Sounds like a plan to me.
So I just nod at him and Daedalus kind of at the same time and walk back in the cottage.
Okay. So the cottage is empty with the exception of Danzin and Terra. From the time that you walked out to the time that you walk in, you see noticeable improvement in his physicality. His hand is squeezed around her hand tightly. His breathing is much more pronounced, where before you could barely see his chest rising with breath of air in his lungs. Now you see it labored, but you do see reactive breathing. So just from the few minutes that Terra was with him, you do see a remarkable improvement. However, this has magic written all over it.
So I made my way over to them quickly. Is he doing better? He looks different. He's moving.
I'm gonna keep humming a song.
So,
Just go.
so you see Terra, tears streaming down her face, just trying to console her brother. Kind of a glassy gaze on her eyes, and you know she's probably in shock.
Well, I think, and once I approached, I sort of asking that question as I approach, I sort of answered my own question.
Easily enough, you're able to assess her medically, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I just kind of back away and lay out my blanket and so maybe 10 feet away if there's that much room, and go to bed for a long rest.
Okay. All right, good enough. So everybody takes a long rest?
Yep.
Except for I.
Okay.
Oh,
You're on guard duty.
He's on.
Yeah.
He took his rest.
Daedalus, as a matter of fact, you took your 4 hours meditation as well. So what are you doing?
I'm just gonna aid him and
Okay.
keep an eye out.
Sure.
Why do I picture Daedalus looking around very alertly and then Brog just kind of dozing off and falling forward in the dirt?
You know,
I think
it's funny that you mentioned that because I had the same thought.
Because I was thinking more of like the dun 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 dun.
Like Keystone Cops.
Yeah.
Make a perception roll, both of you.
19.
Cock die. 19.
19. Okay. So as you guys are kind of, and I should have made that a group roll with advantage, but it doesn't matter. Sorry. But as you guys are on guard duty, and you're kind of strolling the village, and you make your way back to the High Hill Cottage, and then you do another perimeter and make your way back. You do this a couple times. You do notice even the half ogre. Not really, although he's part of the community. He's not really part of the community. But even he is on high alert, it would seem. You can see his figure out in the his profile against the darkness of the swamp. And you see him almost kind of like looking as well, perhaps for the unknown assailant. But you see every 10, 15 feet, he'll stop, he'll look around, he'll look up in the trees, he'll sniff the air, and he'll just kind of like get in a very kind of defensive position. And he just keeps going. So within your kind of guard perimeter, it's almost as if he's keeping an active outer guard on the perimeter within the swamp.
Nice.
So, but for the most part, it's quiet, other than the hustle and bustle of what's going on. So what do you guys do? Daedalus and Brock? You just finish out your evening?
Yeah, I guess you just finished out on our watch.
Okay. So for the most part, yeah, it's quiet. So Talvis, you get your long rest. Terra, are you still?
I'm still
with your brother.
Yeah.
Danza. Okay. So his eyes are fluttering. He moves every once in a while. His eyes are still white. No pupils, no irises, corneas, just completely white. So what do you do?
So I wake up and approach his bed
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of leaning into my medical instincts a little bit. I'm just kind of checking him out and turning his head, looking at his eyes and stuff. And
So as you kind of begin your medical exam, he kind of moves his head to your direction, and he says, "Da."
I look at Terra like, what is he looking for?
I'm gonna start stroking his. No, you know Talvis. Talvis is just checking up on you.
So he kind of smiles, and he says, "Talvis."
Yes, Talvis, it's okay.
So he squeezes your hand a little harder.
So as he's doing that, I take off my holy symbol that Terra found in
Yes.
the creature, and I place it around his neck,
Mm-hmm.
and then place my hand over it and cast Remove Curse on him and see if it has any effect.
What level?
It's going to be, it is, by default, it's 3rd level. It doesn't look like I have an ability to cast it higher.
Right. Alright, so let me go ahead to remove curse really quick. So I want to make sure that there is no misinterpretation of remove curse. At your touch, all curses affecting one creature or object end. If the object is a cursed item, or its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded. And that is one action. It's 3rd level. Okay, it's 3rd level. So go for it.
Okay, so I do that. I just keep my hand over his. It's my holy symbol that I placed around his neck, and I close my eyes and say a prayer to Hestia, and open my eyes and see if I can discern any effect.
Okay. So as you say a prayer to Hestia, you feel her warmth course through you and into Danzin, and almost immediately the color starts to come back to his skin. He smiles a little bit. His eyes turn from a solid white to almost a cataract white. So the effect of the curse has been removed. Now there is a medical condition. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And so I will gently remove my holy symbol and put it back on. And attempt a medicine check on him.
I would say that because medicine check, you know what's wrong with him. You know he can't see.
Okay.
So most times a medicine check is good for stopping the flow of blood excessively. You know what I mean? Or just to quickly assess what's wrong with with somebody.
So in this case,
like he's having a heart attack or something. But in this case, you already know what's wrong with him.
It would just be identifying.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I take my holy symbol off and look at Terra and try to catch her eye and kind of as subtly as possible, kind of point in his direction, so make sure she is understanding what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
And you saw the physical improvement and the physical change. However, you do see that with that change, there was some sort of permanent physical effect to him.
Danzin, are you okay?
Terra, I can't see.
I know.
What can I see?
There's not much we could do. Talvis did what he could. The curse is removed, but you...
It's okay. It's okay, Terra. So he just hugs you. He puts his arms around you and he hugs you.
You always give me so much trouble, you.
And you could feel the wet from his tears on your shoulder as his head kind of rests there. And he says, I'm alive though, right?
Yes, you are my boy. Oh, my Danzin, I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay. But we will make it.
I'm alive.
I will get Mama, Papa. Do you want to see Milkyun or?
Where's Talvis?
I'm right here.
So you see him kind of put his hand out to kind of locate you. You allow him?
Yeah.
Okay, so he kind of grabs you by the forearm and he goes, you're the best.
You are too kind. That's the least and the most, unfortunately, that I could do for you.
It's a bad beat, for sure.
I think you have a very loving family that will help you adjust, I'm sure.
Do you know what happened?
We know very little at this point. You were found this way, but it is our mission for now to find out.
I felt, before everything went black, I felt like an icy touch. I almost felt like 2 fingers, cold iron, just jammed right into my eyes. And I just heard this laugh. And then, that's it. Then I remember Terra talking to me. That's all I don't know anything else.
Did you notice anything before this happened? Anything unusual, even from one of the villagers around here?
It got cold. It got cold and I could smell like rotted meat.
I'm gonna look at Talvis, just like with wide eyes. And, Talvis, meet me outside now.
So as you say, meet me outside now, you hear a horn. That particular horn that you hear is the one of something or someone approaching, strangers approaching.
Okay. So I look at her and just kind of bolt outside.
I'm gonna turn to Danzin and just...
He goes, I'm blind, but I hear the horn. Go.
You need to stay here now.
I'm not leaving this bed.
Thank you. I know how much of a troublemaker you tend to be sometimes.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna start running out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna run alongside Talvis to see what's going on.
Sure.
And since we were right out,
Everybody heard it. Rod, you heard it.
so we're already up and running that direction.
Okay. So you see the lookout by the brazier. And you hear large steps, rhythmic, coming into the village. You hear very, not very sporadic, not in a natural walking rhythm. And you hear the lookout. It's Borgu. I think Rory's coming back. And so you see people kind of stop what they're doing because Gryu, Denny, and Rory haven't been back since you guys left. So they come into the village. What do you guys do?
I'll get as close as it is possible and still be safe from
Sure.
getting stomped on.
Okay. Actually, everybody make a perception roll. That's a 20. Nice.
I'm going to turn in an inspiration for that.
Perception, you said, right?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. 17.
Okay. You saw.
19.
Okay. So the three of you immediately see it. You don't see Rory in the saddle, but you see him strung by his wrist, hanging off to the side of the saddle. He is covered in blood from head to toe. Borgo doesn't have an arrow in him, which is his mount. Doesn't have an arrow in him. Not a slice, not a cut. But Rory is on death's door. And he is hanging limply from that saddle.
How high up?
Tall.
is
Yeah,
Tall.
you could climb up there.
Okay.
I would love you to make an animal handling check.
You know what?
I'll climb.
You're gonna deprive me of this?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No. Go ahead and climb.
Yeah.
You can. I will allow you to either make a. I'll give you the choice: animal handling, acrobatics, or athletics, whatever you would like to use.
Acrobatics.
I need to. Go for it.
I have a question while she rolls.
Sure.
Oh, actually, I forgot I have this.
Are the other two with them? Like,
You don't see Gryu Phoenix Horn, and you don't see Denny.
thank you. That is what I really wanted to know. 'Cause
Natural 20.
Natural 20. So, describe how you climb this mammoth beast. Literally mammoth.
I'm gonna just start bolting and running, and almost like you see like in those kung fu movies, like running up the wall sort of thing.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
just gonna start running up the mammoth and like
You're just grabbing
the
tufts
fur,
of
but like
hair,
and like running as fast as I can and kind of like deftly moving up there.
So you quickly get to Rory. His breathing is shallow. You see just bubbles of orc blood kind of bubbling up with each breath that escapes his lungs. Probably blood in his lungs. Talvis, you spot that immediately. So you know he's in very real jeopardy.
So,
I'm gonna pull a health potion out and put it basically in his mouth.
Sure. What
Let me see. Which ones do I have? Oh, I have a lot of superiors. I'll use one of my superiors.
I'll do that. 11. Nice. Oof. 18.
I don't think you guys realize just how many superiors I have.
So
I have a lot.
you need to start splitting some of this loot up.
We do, but they use it all. I rarely.
So you take out the health potion, the sparkly red elixir. You pop open the cork with one hand, and you just kind of dump it down his mouth, and you just see kind of some of it kind of puddle out of his mouth as it goes down. But almost immediately, you see like one swollen eye kind of crack open, and kind of his orc iris is kind of going from left to right as if he's confused, and he sees you as you're the closest person to him, and he just, with pain, excruciating pain, he mutters, "It sucks."
Aye, lad, I bet it does, but we gotta get you down, okay? This should help for a little bit.
She's already there.
Who?
Like in the thing.
Where are the other two?
She's got my brother, and she's got Gryu. She let me go.
Alright, well, let's get you down first. You're our top priority right now. I'm gonna look down. Talvis, get ready. I'm gonna cut this rope.
So I quickly look around to any villagers, anybody who's around me, like, Well, let's get it
Let's make it. We'll make it a group check.
Okay.
So everybody's waiting to catch Rory, who's a very big orc.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 7 foot and change. He's big and he's heavy. So we'll make this a group strength check, athletics, and with advantage. So go ahead and roll twice. Take the higher of the two.
I will make that roll.
You're gonna make the roll.
I'm gonna be
All right,
there.
Let's have him make the roll because he has the higher strength.
Absolutely.
So I will.
Talvis will not argue with that.
That makes sense.
Okay, so
He fell and broke his neck.
let me put that up here. Versus cock dice. So
Alright.
roll again. So that would be 15, 16, 17, 18 modified.
Okay. Going for that nat, huh?
Oh, no, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23
Sure.
modified.
23 modified, so easy enough. All of you kind of put your hands up in the air as Terra cuts the leather strap and he falls a couple of feet. But everybody's waiting at the bottom, and sure enough, you manage to get him into a horizontal position. He is alive. His eyes just swollen, a huge knot over his eye. Still bleeding, but he's alive.
Alright, let's get him into the temple, and I just kind of start guiding him in that direction.
Okay, so the whole crowd kind of goes with you and helps in any way. People coming with buckets of water, and you see the crafters kind of stop even what they're doing. You see Adnor, which is the gentleman that you spoke to, the stonecutter, talking to Hisak, which is the weaponsmith, and he's like, "That's it. That's 2. I say we go right now. Fuck this. We do it Dwarven style." And you hear the other one. Yeah, I'm sick of this waiting shit. They're over there. Let's fucking go. So you hear like them kind of like stirring up the crowd. Like people are now, they've gone to frightened. They've gone from flight to fight mode. First a child was attacked, and now Rory, who's beloved by everybody in the village, and Grayu and Denny are AWOL. So now everybody's kind of getting worked up in a frenzy. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna. Is there like pedestals or like sitting areas?
In the village square.
Yeah. I'm gonna stand up on one of the sitting areas and we're gonna go into a spiel. I'm gonna stand up and. All you alright? I agree. We need to take this bitch down, but first, I need to say something to the man who not only is about to save our friend here, but saved me family more than once. Talvis, I'm gonna kneel on one knee with my daggers and throw them on the ground. My sword, my daggers, my life is yours. You are truly chosen by Hestia herself. My life will forever be in your hands, and I will protect you from anything and everything, including that bitch Zayn the Zay. And who is with me?
You hear the crowd, "Aye, yes!" And they all kind of like bend the knee.
Yeah, how far away am I from?
You just see like you're probably about 25 feet away from Terra as she makes this proclamation, and then you just see people just like hit the floor on one knee, head down.
So I kind of do my best to hand Rory off to, like, still holding him.
Well,
so.
I mean, you've got Barag,
Right.
Yeah.
Here you
Face.
go.
Oh shit!
I mean, he rolled the strength check, so I'll say.
Right, he's okay. So I turn around and sort of stride towards where everybody's gathered. say, I look at all of them and then stop at her. Humbled by this, we have all been chosen, and I raise the Hearth of Hestia in one-handed form and ignite the flame from it, and just hold it there, and bow to them, kneel rather, to them, with holding it on top of my knee.
So I'm gonna grab my ice dagger and raise it up along with them and to the chosen of Hestia.
And then you hear, to the chosen of Hestia. And it sounds like you guys made 100 people sound like 1,000. And this is where we'll leave off. Wow, guys.
Well,
you know what? The DM is going to applaud you guys. Woo! That was amazing, guys.
Damn.
That is some shit.
I can't wait.
Why can't next weekend get here?
Yes! Like,
I'm just
fast forward.
I was
Wow, guys.
not
Yes.
prepared.
Yeah.
But
MVP.
accepting of it.
Hey!
While I'm in the back. Hey! We're holding Rory.
Brock's still sleeping in his tent.
Frog's still sleeping.
Do we get to kill anything yet?
Mm,
Well, he doesn't say anything to that too.
We sort of had collectively caught
Yeah.
Rory, so
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm picturing her saying that, and Talvis just being like,
Completely caught unaware.
yeah.
Why? And you know, I mean, your relationship has been rocky. So for her to, bend the knee and say this in such a grand and public fashion is probably a big deal.
Yeah.
And just so you know, pirates do have life debts. So basically, by proclaiming that, just
Oh,
so
no.
you know, just for a little bit of pirate insight for those who don't know.
All right. So
Life debts are very
what an
real.
episode, guys.
insane in the memory.
I think maybe that was a little unintentional Return of the King on my part. I just thought about it. I was like, my friends, you bow to no one.
Somewhere Peter Jackson's like, that fucker!
I'm on a cut.
Yeah. Daedalus? Wow, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't
Yeah.
know nada.
You just said it again. Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's the only way I could react to it.
You know what? Knuckles, man. Knuckles. I like it. All right, Barag, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Barag's wrestling
ready.
with some shit.
I'm ready for it.
All right.
Oh.
I think somewhere in the back of his mind, he's like, I'm ready for it. He's like, not really.
Like, fuck, these nightmares are scaring the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think I'm ready for it.
I think you
I mean, I did give her my dwarven gold.
You did.
I'm
You've got to collect that shit, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's like a life debt. She's gonna pay on that dwarven gold.
Should be good. I can't wait to see what shenanigans that you guys roll up.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
The dwarven gold's
For
going back in my
shenanigans.
pocket.
Yeah. All right,
It's
guys.
gonna be stained with her blood.
We're gonna see you guys next week. I think next week is gonna be the big climactic battle, unless something weird happens. But yeah, it should be good.
Oh.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Yes, good night. Oh. Great episode.